Hi, welcome to another episode of Table for Us podcast. Go ahead and pull up a seat to the table, and we're going to dive into today's episode. But before we dive into that episode, as always, I like to give all praise and glory to God because without Him, absolutely nothing that I do would be possible. One thing that I actually really want to share with everybody is God don't play about me. He don't play about his children, okay? So when not something, but when the enemy is coming against you, trust and believe he is going to show up and show out and provide all of your needs, protect you from things that you don't even see, okay? So trust him always and give him all praise and all glory. So today, the episode that we're going to be talking about is doing it alone isn't failure. And this is new territory basically for me. Just in 2025, towards the end of 2025, maybe probably like around July of 2025, I went into an isolation moment or phase, rather, I should say. And during that isolation phase, it was just more so like a reset, recharge for myself. Now, when I went into this isolation phase, I didn't take other people's feelings into consideration on how they were going to feel about me taking time for myself. And to be quite honestly, I'm very disappointed in quite a few people who, instead of checking on me and making sure that I was okay, they got upset and they got in their feelings about me taking time to myself. Now, I've never gone into an isolation phase ever in my life. I'm always available for people. I'm always showing up. I'm always there in the present moment. And I think 48 years of my life that it would be okay for me to take some time for myself because I just had a lot that was on my plate. So in doing that, it put me in a place where now I'm doing things by myself. I'm not angry or upset at those people that I walked away from, but I'm just focusing on me and doing what I need to do in order to have a solid foundation for myself. So when I'm moving forward in the direction that I am wanting to go, I'm solid. So then once I get around people again, preferably people who are on the same path as me or they're on a path of where I'm trying to get, I'm solid in who I am. And now I have boundaries set because I needed to figure out who I was, honestly. So if you need to go at things alone to figure out who you are and where you want to go, where you want to be, where you've been, just to figure out your identity, it's okay to do that. People who really love and care about you are going to respect it and they're going to understand that you need to take time out for yourself. And anybody who does not understand that or respect that and they get upset, they may not be the people who need to be in your life. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, I want to acknowledge that doing things by yourself is not easy and it can be very uncomfortable because as humans, we're automatically wired to think about how is everyone else going to perceive this if I'm somewhere by myself? What is this going to look like to the outside world? For example, for the first time, I went to a concert by myself in 2025. And honestly, because I've spent some time alone and by myself, it's pretty much one and the same. I wasn't really worried about how people were going to look at me being by myself. If anything, I was thinking, am I going to enjoy myself and have fun being at this concert by myself was what was in my head. Not how everybody else was going to look at me and be like, oh, she by herself. I didn't care about that. And to my surprise, I had an amazing time at this concert. So the reason I decided to go to this concert by myself was because 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Usher had a residency in Las Vegas. And I'm thinking, okay, he about to be out there for a few years. I got time, whatever. A couple of my girlfriends at the time, we were saying that we wanted to go to the concert together, right? Because when we do things, trips, concerts, events, we're always doing them together for the most part. And life just kept lifing. Everybody's schedules wasn't aligning. and I missed seeing Usher basically. When I decided I finally was gonna go, I didn't realize my daughter also was interested in going because I'm like, Usher my age, he around my age. And my daughter, she's 21 now, but at the time she was like 18 or 19 or something like that. And I'm like, you do want to go? So his last show, and I didn't know, was literally around the time that I was planning on going. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some tickets because it was her birthday that month. And when I looked for the tickets, it was like they already had the last show. And I was like, oh. So I was pretty upset and hurt by that because it was like, dang, man, waiting around on people. Now I miss seeing Usher residency or whatever. So from that point, I basically already had it in the back of my mind. If another concert come up from somebody that I actually want to see, I'm just gonna get my tickets and just go by myself. So that was way before my whole isolation phase that I was in. So Chris Brown tickets came up, his Breezy Bowl, and I didn't ask nobody if they were going. I didn't check to see if anybody wanted to go. I just told myself, I'm going to this concert. I don't care. So I booked my ticket, right? Not booked my ticket, I bought my ticket, and I had a pretty good seat too. Actually, I had a really good seat. At least as for the price that I paid for it, I had a really good seat. So that was one event. I had the time of my life because I was surrounded by breezy fans, right? So we're all up, we're dancing, we're singing the songs, and it didn't matter that I was there by myself and as far as didn't know anybody because the girl that was sitting next to me, we was looking at each other, singing the songs together and basically became concert besties. It was just an instant thing, right? Don't feel uncomfortable or afraid to go to a concert by yourself. Don't feel uncomfortable or afraid to go see a movie by yourself. I've actually done that before. It was a movie that I really wanted to see, and I didn't want to be interrupted with questions or commentary. I wanted to actually watch the movie because it was one of those movies where it's if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss it. So this was some years ago, and I had went, and it was weird. I will admit that it was a little weird because I'm used to going to the movies with somebody, right? Either it's a group of us or just myself and one other person. We're going to the movies. I had this one, it's my bestie. We would always go to the movies together, like every movie, and we would literally get there to watch the credits, the opening credits to see what's coming out. And then we would look at each other and be like, we going to go see that. And we would. Oh my God, I can't even count how many times we've been to the movies together. So this one time when I went to the movies by myself, it was weird. I'll admit because of what I was used to always doing, but at the same time, I liked it. I enjoyed it. One, I was there on time when I wanted to be there, when the lights are still basically on, got my seat, was able to see where I was walking because when it's dark, even with the little lights that they have on the side, it's hard to see where you're going. I'm getting older. My eyes is they're not what they used to be. So I was able to get there when the light, I didn't have to rush. I got my popcorn, I had my candy already. Could go to the dollar store and get my stock up on my candy. But I got my popcorn there, and then I believe I also got an icy. Those are the only things I really like to buy from the movie theater. Everything else, it's in my bag, right? And I was able to sit down comfortably, get all adjusted. Then the lights dimmed, and the credits came on, and I'm sitting there. I'm already watching a movie because I'm excited about. Ooh, that looked good. I want to go see that or whatever. So that was good. And then after, it wasn't okay. So what we about to do next, or where you want to go? It was whatever I wanted to do because I was by myself. So if I was like, all right, I'm tired, I'm about to go home. I don't remember what time it was when I went to go see this movie. But I think I went to the mall actually after and just walked around and just enjoyed window shopping instead of being with somebody who's frustrated, upset, or they on a time restriction and they ready to go or whatever. It was like I was able to go and do whatever I wanted to do afterwards because I was on my own time because I was by myself. So I will say it is uncomfortable, but once you get past that feeling uncomfortable and weird, it's a lot of people that go to the movies by themselves. There's a lot of people that go to concerts by themselves. Actually, I'm finding out there's a lot of people who travel by themselves, and it's becoming more normal for people to travel by themselves. I'm a little scared as far as international travel, but I have traveled domestically. But my destination is I'm meeting up with people. I haven't actually taken a trip by myself. So I would love to actually take a trip, go somewhere that I really want to go, and just enjoy the trip by myself. As a matter of fact, I went to New York this month last year. I went to New York for my birthday and I went with someone. He took me. It was a trip. I thought it was so sweet too. And I won't get into all the details because I feel like that's a whole nother episode. But I felt like I could have enjoyed the trip much better had I gone with someone else or just gone by myself. I've always wanted to go to New York. A lot of my TV shows and favorite movies are filmed in New York. So I was excited. And to be with somebody on a trip that's not sharing that same excitement, honestly, it was a buzz killer for me. So there was a couple of times I just went out sightseeing by myself and I enjoyed myself. Just I wasn't on the trip by myself, but I went out sightseeing and all that stuff by myself. One of my favorite TV shows is Law and Order. So I definitely had to go and check out 1PP, One Police Plaza, and it's real, it's there. They had some stuff blocked off, whatever. I don't know if they was doing construction, but I was so excited to be able to see that. One of the other things, just I wanted to go and be a tourist, right? So the next time I go, then I want to blend in as much as possible. But I definitely wouldn't mind going back to New York by myself, be on my own time. And I actually felt safe. I didn't feel like somebody was going to rob me or anything like that. Like I had an issue out there, but it was nothing like on the street. NYPD was very nice and welcoming. I rode the subway, and at every subway stop when you're getting off, NYPD's presence was there. So I felt safe. So I feel like that's a place that I can go and travel by myself. And then once I get used to traveling domestically by myself, then it's like, okay, there's quite a few places that I would love to go international, but I haven't gone because I'm trying to coordinate stuff with other people. And I just want to move into this next part where when you're constantly waiting or trying to plan things with other people, you can literally be stagnant and not do anything at all because you're constantly waiting on them, and or a missed opportunity, like my example with the Usher experience that he had in Las Vegas. I don't know if he's coming back ever to do that again. So I missed that. I saw everybody's clips on social media, but it wasn't the same as going myself, right? Don't let doing things by yourself keep you from actually experiencing things, right? You'll be stuck in the house if you don't go do it and be mad and upset because your girlfriends or your man or your family members or whatever, because they have their own lives and everybody be busy. So it's like trying to coordinate stuff. Just sometimes it doesn't play out. Why should you miss out on that opportunity because you don't have anybody to go with you or to do it? Just go do it. One thing I did do, but it was a destination wedding, and I think honestly that was probably my first time really. No, that wasn't my first time traveling by myself. I actually traveled to Texas on a plane by myself. Now that I can do, but again, I was going to a destination where I was going to meet family or meeting up with someone, but I could get on a plane and be by myself chilling. Actually, I love it that way because when I get on the plane, I got my music on. I'm not trying to have no conversation. Leave me alone. Not to say that it's not fun to travel with people, but there's pros and cons to both. Now, let me back up a little bit and just touch on this with traveling, going to the movies and things of that sort. So when you do things by yourself, this is the other thing that would drive me crazy. It'd be a group of us. And again, there are pros and cons to doing things by yourself or doing things in groups. One of the cons that I have noticed when you're doing stuff with a group is indecisiveness. We had a family trip and I love my family. I love hanging out with them. I love going places with them. But one thing that drives me crazy is us really deciding on, if we don't have it already planned out, where we're going to eat, what we're going to eat, what are we going to do next? And it's a lot of us. So we might have 5 people who want to have pizza, or 5 people who might want to have Chinese food, or the rest of the people, they indecisive. They indecisive. They don't know what it is they want to eat, right? So when you do things by yourself, it's quick decisions because it's you. You don't have to have a quick little group setting meeting to figure out, all right, so we got this many people, they want to go do this, many people want to go do that. So how about we do this on this day? And then we come to a decision, but It takes us a minute to get there versus if you're doing it by yourself, quick decisions. It's like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to go do. Just like when I came out of the movies. I don't want to go home. And I'm looking around and I'm like, I'm by myself, so I don't have to go home. I want to go walk around the mall. All right, I'm by myself. Let's go walk around the mall. Quicker decisions when you're by yourself, right? When I did the concert, it was me just really putting my outfit together. This is what I'm wearing. I'm not worried about what nobody else is wearing and us trying to coordinate our outfits or anything like that because I'm going by myself. So it's quick and easier decisions. You also, another thing that I have learned that I had to do by myself was this podcast. I wanted to do this podcast with my friend. Then it was with my daughters. But everybody's life is lifing, basically. Trying to get everybody's schedules together in order to sit down and have this be the focus. Because I was ready. I was very passionate about this. And we have been having conversation. I have conversations with my girls, with my daughters, and we sit around and we just be talking about so much random stuff that it was like, ooh, a mom and daughter podcast. That would be fire, right? And we just be talking about different stuff. As a matter of fact, if you go back to my very first episode on this podcast was with my daughters. But after that, trying to align our schedules, because I have one daughter who's a business owner, Styles by Lay. I'll make sure that I'll link her below. If you guys are in the Las Vegas area, go ahead and get your hair styled by Lay. She's actually about to go on maternity leave. When she comes back, check out her Instagram. Shout out to her. She has her own business. So she does hair, and her schedule is going to always be different, right? Depending on who she has booked and so forth. And then my other daughter, my oldest daughter, she's a certified clinical medical assistant. I hope I got that right, Trim. So proud of her. She works a lot of hours, and then she's also about to start school. So trying to get her, even with her schedule, it's just really crazy trying to get all three of us together at the same time to be able to do this. And then it was me wanting to do it with my friend group, but two of us are in a different state. The other one, she's also an entrepreneur, but trying to get our schedules lined up, it just didn't line up. So what ended up happening is the podcast, I did that one episode with my daughters, and then there was not another episode that I recorded because I was trying to get things coordinated with everybody, literally, because it was like, this was something we were supposed to do together. And then I came across somebody that I actually met at InvestFest a little over a year ago, David Shands. He's a huge podcast called Social Proof. His podcast is very successful. So he ran a kind of like a boot camp called My Seven Figure Podcast. So I went ahead and joined that, and I learned so much. The biggest thing that I learned was you don't have to do a podcast with somebody else. You can be an individual podcaster and you're just doing a podcast just with you. In my mind, I'm like, the podcast has to be at least one other person so we can have dialogue back and forth, or interviewing somebody and having a guest and so forth. He was like, you can be a podcast by yourself. You can have a podcast by yourself. So I'm like, okay, cool. What does that look like for me? Because I was getting so frustrated that I couldn't get this up and running, and I had been wanting to do the podcast. So finally, after doing that boot camp, I said, you know what? I'm just going to do this podcast by myself. And if and when my daughters have time, or my family has time, or the friend group, whenever one of them has time, they can just come on as a co-host or as a guest. So once I made up my mind, that's what I was going to do. We got the podcast up and rolling. I got the podcast up and rolling. So then it was, okay, where am I going to do the podcast at? What is the setup going to look like? And just what am I going to talk about? What do I want to name it? So once you get all of those things done and set, once you decide, okay, I'm going to do this by myself, now you have the clarity that you need, and you're moving with a purpose now, because it's okay. The plan, this is the plan. We're going to execute the plan. Once I get past the, okay, I can actually do this by myself, get past the fear of I can't do this by myself. Once I get past that and it's, yes, I can do this. Now we're moving with purpose. Now we have a clear vision. We're full steam ahead. And ever since then, I'm on it. I have a schedule of when I record, and then I got a schedule of when, now that I know how to edit my podcast, and I have this really cool platform that I use, it makes it very easy to edit. I'm going to make sure I drop that below. And I'm also going to drop information on who my podcast is hosted on, my platform that I use, which is Podbean. Shout out to them. If you have ever been thinking about starting your own podcast, I will make sure that I link all of that information below. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel, you like this, and you go ahead and click those links below. So it was, it's been, it's been a really fun journey once I got used to doing it by myself and understanding everything that I needed to do. I was, like I said, full steam ahead on that. One of the things that, and I'm going to go back to my whole isolation phase that I went in, was me just really needing to know who I am just by myself. Even being a single parent, being by myself. I wasn't always a single parent. I've been married, divorced now. But even when you're in a relationship, you're dang near a single parent because it always falls on the mom. But this was my first full time just being by myself. No father basically around. I'm just doing everything by myself. Nobody I live with or anything. And it was scary before I made that decision. I will say that I'm not going to sit up here and say, "Oh, it's so easy to do things by yourself and don't be afraid." You have that fear of, can I do this by myself? What is it going to look like doing this by myself? Am I going to be by myself forever? Like, all of these questions basically popped in my head when I decided, okay, I'm just going to be a single parent. I'm really going to be single. I'm not dating anybody. I'm just by myself. I'm focusing on me and what it is that I want to do. And to be honest with you, it's been fun. There's been some times where I'm just like, oh, I wish I had a person to hang out with or take a quick vacation or something with. Those kind of flash in my head from time to time, but it's not an all the time where I'm just harping on being by myself. I enjoy, look, when I do laundry, one thing is I have a king size bed and it's very roomy, right? But if I do laundry and it's like I take it out of the dryer, I don't really feel like putting stuff up, but I don't want it sitting in the basket. I'll dump it all on the right side of my bed and just leave it there because I live by myself. I live with my children, but I don't have a partner, so it's like I could do that. The other thing that I really love is I have a little bit of OCD, right? When it comes to stuff being in its place and things staying clean. And when you live with somebody else and they don't have that same mindset as you, it'll be a towel on the floor, then put the cat back on the toothpaste, just little stuff where it's just, right? I don't have to deal with that. Where I left something, if something got left out, it's because I did it. So it's like, oh, okay, I can't be mad at nobody because I'm the one that didn't put it back. So let me go ahead and put it back. The only time I really don't put stuff back is if I'm rushing. But then when I get back home, I'm putting stuff up and I'm cleaning up. But I'm only cleaning up after myself. Being a single mom is not as bad as your mind tells you it is, right? I feel honestly, if, and this is truth be told, right? If I'm being honest, I'm very happy. This is probably the happiest that I've been in a long time. Like, my biggest joys and happiest moments I can count on these hands, and it's when my children were born, when they graduated from high school or from college, because most of them college, and then my daughter from cosmetology school. Like, those are my happiest moments. This is now a happy moment for me. One of my happiest moments is being single and being by myself. It's just less drama for me. It's less stress, less worry and concern. I will be honest, when I was in relationships, one of the biggest things, and a lot of this came from my insecurity and abandonment issues, was wondering and worrying about where you at when you're not around me, who you talking to. And I just felt like if I had to do all that, then I was better off being by myself. Ain't nobody got time for that. Then it got to a point where it's just like I really didn't care what my man was doing, because everything that's done in the dark always comes to the light. So I didn't need to be stressed and worried about it. But at the same time, I'd rather be by myself, because if you out there doing you, why we doing this? We don't need to. I'd rather be by myself, right? So when I had my isolation moment, I reflected on so many things from in my adult years. I also reflected on some things from my childhood years, because there was a lot of stuff that I thought I had gotten over, like my daddy abandonment issues growing up. When I turned 19, my relationship with my dad changed. I talk about this in a previous episode, but there was still some things, some feelings that prior to our relationship changing that I was still feeling some type of way about, even things with my mom. So during that isolation phase that I was in, it gave me so much clarity to the things that I was still holding on to that I didn't realize I was holding on to. It gave me clarity on even my friend groups, my circle, basically, I should say, and what direction I wanted to go as far as that. Now, I will say this, when you go a different direction and you move away from what you're used to, right? Because God is putting you on another path. And that's also something. Sometimes you have to walk a certain path alone. It's not meant for everybody else to come with you, especially if you feel like you're constantly trying to pull them and drag them with you. Like, you shouldn't have to force somebody to be on the same page as you. If they're not on the same page, you need to do your thing by yourself. But it's not to say that you don't love or care about those people anymore. It's just, I'm going in a different direction. I wish you the best. I keep everybody in my prayers because I want everybody to be happy in their life and whatever life it is that they have chosen to do. It's just sometimes we outgrow different things, relationships, different areas that we live in, different friendships. We outgrow them because we're elevating, trying to go to a different level, and they might be comfortable where they're at, and that's okay. But it's okay to forge your future ahead alone. It's totally okay. It is scary, but you're going to be okay. I promise you. The other thing that I will say has been really great with doing things by myself is my creative mind has grown significantly because I have more time to be by myself. So now I have more time to think of different things that I want to do versus, oh, I'm on this group chat or on this group call or whatever. And oh, the conversation was typically talking about somebody else. In the Bible, gossip is a sin. So when I was in this isolation phase, God was showing me so many different things about myself that I needed to change. And that was one thing. So it was like, that was another thing. It's like, I can't be associated with this group because all we do is, not all we do, but majority of the time, we're talking about somebody else in their life. I don't have that anymore. So instead of talking about somebody else in their life, now I can focus on my own life and what I need to do. I'm in my own lane. I'm not worried about the neighbor across the street or the person down the street or the person that I knew from high school, elementary. Their life is not my concern anymore because I'm focused on Nicole's life and what I need to do for Nicole. So, with that said, my creativity when it comes to my design and print business has grown significantly. I really got into a creative mode. I'm slack a little bit, not slack right now, but my focus has shifted because, of course, the podcast. And then I have tax season coming up because I am a tax preparer and tax advisor. So my focus has shifted a little bit. But when I was in the middle of this isolation phase, oh, my creativity was just flowing. I was putting all type of stuff together and whatnot. One of my most popular items on my Etsy shop has been the Breezy Bow socks that I designed and put together. They're so cute. I love them, and they come in different colors. And then I also created a matching jersey to go along with it. I did some other things, collaborations, excuse me, not collaborations, some collages that I did with Black sitcom shirts, sports Hall of Famers, just a lot of different things that I wasn't focused on because my attention was being distracted in other ways. So when you're doing things by yourself, you're able to be creative, you're able to be more focused on whatever it is that you are trying to do or need to do. Because sometimes we don't even realize what it is we're supposed to be doing. So God put me in that isolation mode so that I could, because I kept asking him, show me what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Show me what it is I should be focusing on. Show me the things that I need to change about myself. And he did exactly that during that entire isolation phase. So now that I'm coming out of that, I'm still set on my journey of doing things by myself. But the people that I've decided that I'm keeping, that sounds crazy to say. The people that I've decided that, oh, okay, they're in my life, right? We have conversations here and there, but I'm still focused on the things that I need to focus on. I'm not distracted. And they respect and understand my boundaries and the things that I need to focus on. So those are the type of people you want to have in your life that respects and understands your boundaries, right? That are not constantly trying to get you to step outside and do other things for them and take you off of your focus. Okay. They're being very supportive of what it is that I am doing and wanting to do. I'm very happy right now with that. I love y'all too, by the way. Shout out to my people, my team, my support system. I could not be here without y'all. God and y'all have kept me afloat. So just want to say that real quick. Y'all know who y'all are. But so in doing things by yourself, and I'm going to piggyback off of that, it's not to say that you don't have that support. It just means that there's certain things that you really are going to have to do by yourself. But having, that, I don't want to say back end, but that your support in the background, really supporting whatever it is that you're doing is still going to be there, or it should be there. It's just you're doing certain stuff by yourself. Like my favorite cousin, she's a career woman, right? And she's a dang good career woman. She is a VP in in her department. I'm not going to say what that is. And I'm very proud of her because I've seen where we have come from and where she is now. She's a homeowner, she's a wife, she's a great mom, and she's on a different path than what I am. But I'll say to her, like, oh, okay, have you thought about this? Or what about this? So when I'm constantly learning new things as I'm on this solo path, it's still okay. The people that are being supportive of me, I'm going to be supportive of y'all. So I'm going to tell you different things that I think would benefit you. I'm going to put you on. Ooh, I learned this or whatever. It may not be for me, but I thought about you. And I'm like, here, this is something that you could potentially do. Normally it's always something about some type of return on investment, right? Is typically what I'm talking about, because that's what I'm learning now on how to basically put my money in places where it's going to return my money at a higher rate. Because that was the other thing. I'm done with shopping and just wasting money. I'm not buying nothing that's not about to make me money. I'm not doing it, right? If I do, it's, oh, okay, I just wanted to treat myself, but I'm not spending all my money on something that's not going to make me some money, okay? So that was another thing that I changed my focus in doing this isolation phase. So with my favorite cousin, she has this beautiful home. It's a huge, almost 3,000 square foot home. And she's done so much. The house looks absolutely nothing like it did when she first bought it. Like she's changed so much in the home and it's really beautiful. But I had said to her, I said, hey, I was like, are you planning on selling this house anytime soon? And she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, you're putting a lot of money into it, which, is of course is going to raise the value, but it's if you're selling. I'm like, how about some of that money for some of the projects? And I love her projects she's doing, but I'm like, hey, how about think about investing in this? So then now that's going to make you some money. And then you can take a little bit from there, right? Instead of saving money from your paycheck or your bonuses, you can take from your investment a little bit and then do your projects, but don't put all your money into this house when you're not selling right now. I understand we want to make things look nice and stuff like that. So she was like, yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. So little stuff like that, I will throw out to like my close circle, and it's a small circle now, or even to my children. Like my son, he's married, expecting his first baby, and I really want him and his wife to invest in like a multi-family unit. So that would be either a duplex or a triplex, because nobody told me about it. And I made sure when he moved out of the house and moved into his own place that his credit was up there. He was touching 800, his 800 credit score, right? And I'm like, look, this is what I'm gonna tell you that I learned that I didn't know. So I'm gonna put you on, because it's like if you buy a multi-family unit, right? You've never bought anything before. He's a first-time home buyer, you get a different type of funding, right? As far as your loan. And then now you can live in one of the units, and your tenant, right? If it's a duplex or a triplex, which is basically 3 apartments, whatever you're charging them for rent could potentially cover the mortgage on that property. So now you're saving money, right? Your money is staying in your pocket. You could put that money up and save it towards your dream home. I wish I'd have known that. I love my home though. My home is beautiful. But had I known that before, like, dang, I could have been did that. We could have been living in an apartment, basically rent free. And then now I have rental property. So when I move out of there, right, and now I'm renting to somebody else. So say it's a duplex. Now I have 2 tenants that are paying rent. One of them is potentially covering the mortgage on the property. The other one is now cash flow that's coming into my pocket. So all of these things I have been learning during this isolation phase. So much stuff, so much game that now I'm going to put my people on, right? And I guess y'all, because y'all watching. Don't say I ain't taught y'all nothing. So there's a lot of benefits to just basically being in isolation mode and doing things by yourself. It is definitely scary. It gives you a lot of time to reflect on your life, things that it's okay. I've been complaining about something. It's time to put action into it. What do I need to do? It just gives you that clarity that you need. Now, there are some people who be in isolation mode and they don't do anything with that time. I strongly encourage you to really set some goals for yourself. If there's a business that you want to start, set a goal and be like, okay, let's decide on a name. And I want to have that name decided on, locked in 2 weeks. Now that I got the name, all right, or let's decide if okay, I want to do a business. What is that business? Let's start with what is the business, okay? Who am I marketing to? Who's my target audience or my target customers? Once you lock in on all that stuff, then it's okay. Now let's move on to what is the name of the business, right? Does this name have a meaning? All right, now what's my brand? Like set goals and build up to that. If it's you want to go back to school, okay, what do I want to go to school for? What's a field that I can get into that'll still be around in 10, 20 years, right? So it's like, okay, or what is it that I'm passionate about? So let me learn about that. So once I lock in on that, okay, I'm working full time. I might be a parent. What's the best school or program for me that's going to work around my schedule? Set you some small attainable goals, and then once you figure all that stuff out, knock it out, right? Get that business together, get it up and running. Enroll in school, knock it out, get that bachelor's, or if it's a trade, get that certification, whatever it is. But set those goals so that you're actually productively, you're moving towards something instead of you just sitting there idle. Because time gonna keep going by. That's one thing that's not we can't control is time. We can't stop it. We can't rewind it. So you make your time worthwhile. Okay. And again, then that might have to be with you doing it by yourself, and it's okay. You can reach out to certain people and ask them. I have helped quite a few people launch and get their businesses started. I'm an advocate for it, especially if you're a W-2 employee. I am always talking to individuals about starting a business because it helps you on the back end when it comes to taxes. You don't have to make any money upfront, but you're able to write off all of those expenses that are associated with that business, especially if you make over 100K a year in taxes and you don't have any dependents or you don't have any assets or properties. You need a business because that's what's going to help you maximize your tax deductions and lower your taxable income so you can either owe less or get a bigger refund. If you want to know about more about that, I'm gonna I'm gonna put the link below so you can schedule a consult with me for tax planning and tax advisory. But I just want to basically say this. I'm gonna leave this with you guys. Fear does not come from God. Fear comes from the enemy. He will put fear in you to keep you stagnant. He will put fear in you to keep you from what God wants for you. And he wants so much for us, like beyond what we can even imagine, right? When I started this podcast, I had stuff to talk about. I had no idea. I'm literally, and I probably need to check this out, but I'm almost at 50,000 views because of you guys, right? Because God has given me different things. Like he gives me the things that I should talk about. And then I just apply my own life experiences to it. I had no idea I would be here in just a matter of 6 months. Has it been 6 months? Well, I started being consistent with the podcast basically in August. So it's been like about 5 months. And he has so much in store for us. But if I kept being fearful of doing it by myself or waiting for other people, I wouldn't be here today. Hi, so my name is Nicolette Royal or Nicole Johnson for legal purposes. Royal is my father's last name, but my mom gave me my dad's last name, but I use it now with my businesses, and I am the owner of Royal Legacy Services. Royal Legacy Services is a tax prep and tax advisory credit repair business. I started this business, I started doing taxes maybe about 20 years ago, and I treated it as a hobby. It was always a side gig for me. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I decided to go full in with my business when I got laid off. So I provide tax services for personal taxes. I provide tax services for small businesses.
I provide tax advice. So with the tax advice, I typically try to give people tips and advice on what they need to do in the year before tax season. So different things that you and strategies that you can implement now will help you with tax savings, tax deductions, and credits and so forth when tax season comes around. I added credit repair about 3 years ago as a service to my tax business. And the reason being was because I had so many tax clients that I would hear when I would have a consultation with them. They would say, as soon as I get my money, I'm going to pay this off, or I'm going to do this so that I can fix my credit. So I felt like it was an opportunity to add credit repair services so that I could help them with their taxes and their credit. One of the things that really helped me in my business is I was my first client. So I started doing my own taxes myself. And then that turned into me doing taxes for family members and then friends. And pretty much everybody that I have currently literally is a referral. I might have a few people that found me on like Yelp or Facebook or something like that. But majority of my clients that I have, they were referred to me by somebody else. The same with credit repair. I actually went to an actual credit repair company before I was about to buy my house. And they got a couple of things off, but they didn't educate me on the importance of how to build my credit back up. They didn't educate me on the different consumer laws or anything of that sort. They just was like, pay me this money and we're going to do this. Well, pay this money to enroll. And I believe they had like a paper delete type of thing. So I decided to do credit repair differently. I probably overshare with my clients. I probably whelm them with things, but I want them to know everything that I know so that they can make sure that they don't get back into the same predicament that they're in when they come to me, right? So I make sure that they know about what makes up their credit score. I make sure that they know that in addition to me getting negative items removed, that they also need to now establish new credit. So I have a list of credit building accounts that I refer them to, and I walk them through the entire process. I also have an ebook that I typically tell new clients, potential clients, right? I tell them, hey, here's an ebook. If you want to work on your credit yourself, you can. And here's the steps on how to do that. So I'll share the link with my Stan store where you can actually purchase my ebook. You'll also have a link on how you can reach me. You will What else am I going to share? So my number is 702-969-3605. That is my business number. That is how you can reach me, or you can go to Royal Legacy Services, so svcs.com, and you can go ahead and schedule a consultation with me, and I will look at everything that you have going on, whether it's your taxes. I do back taxes. I try to stay away from amendments. If I didn't file your taxes, I typically don't like redoing somebody else's stuff, but I can look at it and look it over and see if it's something that I can help you with. The tax advice, I typically, if you have a business, I love people who have small businesses because there is so much that you are able to claim as a deduction under your business. So those are all the things that I will walk you through and talk you through when you have a consultation with me. So Nicole Johnson or Nicole Royal with Royal Legacy Services.
So I just want to leave that with you. Whatever it is, just start it. And God will figure everything else out for you. If He's giving you a vision, a talent, a craft, whatever it is, knowledge, beauty, if you've been blessed with beauty, get out. Like, they always looking for people to be a face of something, brand ambassadors and everything. Use what God has blessed you with legally and just start it, right? So I hope that you guys really was able to take something from this. I just want to leave you guys with this quick affirmation. I don't need permission to move forward. That is you guys' affirmation. You do not need permission from anyone to move forward, and you do not have to explain anything to anybody. Whatever it is you want to do it. All right. So I just thank you guys so much for pulling up a seat to the table today. I hope you guys have a blessed one, and I'll see you in our next episode.